Hey everyone, I just wanted to make a video about hides and what I'm seeing with drum makers out in the world at the moment, and just to, you know, everyone's got their style, everyone's got their way of doing things, but I think there's a lot of, let's just say, new people coming in who aren't really understanding the energy of what they're working with. So recently I've had quite a few emails of people asking me to sell them drum lacing, or asking me how big the deer hides are that I sell and how many drums can they get out of a hide. Fair enough for something really big like a horse or an elk or a buffalo. I feel like those beasts have got such strong energy. It kind of takes being cut into a few different pieces. And what's even more beautiful, actually, if you're doing a drum making day, to have everyone make a drum from that horse and then they're all connected, or that buffalo or that elk or whatever it is, if it's a big beast. But for the deer and the stag and the goat, even maybe some of the smaller reindeer, I feel to keep the integrity of the animal, only one drum should be made from each hide. I have on occasion made like sister drums. If I've had family members say they want to have two drums made out of one hide to have that connection. What I sense is when you cut, say, a big drum and a small drum, because you're trying to fit, two in one hide, the bigger drum will always have the stronger, more dominant energy. So what I tend to do in that situation, which is very rare, is that I will cut two circles the same size. So let's say they're both 16-inch, and maybe, or it's more likely you get two 14-inches out of one deer. But then I might stretch one of those to fit on a slightly bigger hoop. So I could do a 14-inch traditional cross-handled drum, and then a 16-inch with the hoop style on the back, where the hide doesn't have to come over so much. But it is very rare that I will do that. So for me, like someone saying, well, can I just buy some lacing from you? When I've gone back and said, well, what happened to the rest of the hides that you've got? Because the lacing, I always make the lacing from the same hide, so all of the drum is in integrity of being the same animal. And they, oh well, I just bought a circle that was already cut off eBay or whatever, and who knows what those hides are. I have been sold hides that have said been, when when I first started and I was trying a few different suppliers, they've sent me things like that, and they've said they're deer or whatever, and I could tell by the smell that it's goat, it's something else, it's not even, I don't even know what it is. So to then have whatever you've bought, let's say it's a goat hide, and then ask me for some deer to make some lacing from some deer, doesn't feel right to me. On occasion, again, you might want to blend two different animals. So certainly the big powwow drums, the big village drums, actually sound better when you've got a thicker and a thinner hide on both sides, but they're still in integrity. So I would, I've used a deer on the top and I've used that lacing, and then I've flipped it over and I've done the cowhide or whatever on the bottom, and I've used the lacing for that, so they're intertwined. And because it's a big drum, it's a different energy. But I really urge, and anyone who's watching this who's new to drum making and maybe is buying kits offline or whatever, it's kind of like, ask the questions about, where's this come from? Do they supply lacing that goes with it? Is the lacing from the same hide? Because I do drum making kits, and I always, I'm cutting it, I'm creating it, and then it gets packed together so that I know, even if I'm making some kits to sell later, that hide is in integrity. That drum, the hide for that drum is all together waiting to go to the next person. So I just felt to add that, because I don't know, it's as with everything, things take off, and it just seems like there's more people making drums without any kind of guidance, just kind of making it up as they go along, and not really having that sensitivity of really tuning in to the animal and the life force of what you're creating. So, I'm just inviting in that kind of, really honor the life force of the animal, and what is it calling? What is that drum calling? Really tune into the energy of what it is you're creating in your hands. So yeah, I hope that's helpful for some people as well. And also, when you're looking for a drum or you're buying a drum online, these are the questions you want to ask. Where's the hide come from? Is the lacing and the hide made from the same hoop, or the same hide, the same animal? And obviously these days there's different designs out there. So there are drums that are made with string instead of hide lacing and all that kind of thing. But I encourage you to, especially if you're just buying something offline, ideally you want to find someone who teaches drum making and make your own drum. There's nothing like the process of making your own drum. And if you know me, that's what I do. I teach people to make drums. So I'm not saying you have to do it with me, but ask the right questions to whoever it is you're choosing to buy a drum from, buy a drum making kit from, or making a drum with. All right, lots of love.